What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about games releasing in October. Now, instead of like a preview kind of thing where I look at, say, 5 games coming out in October, I just kind of want to talk about it in general. This is a big month, and we've been talking about this month for a very long time. I feel like I've been talking about this month since at least like May or June. This has been an all over the place year. We had a pretty good, beginning, like February, March. So February obviously was very strong, probably the strongest month for games in this year in 2022. But October and then November, and really, I mean, you can keep going. Those are some strong months that we have up ahead: October, November, December. But just kind of taking a look at the October games to kind of go over, just my fast opinions on them and how excited I am. October, as I've always said, really, in my opinion, starts with A Plague Tale: Requiem. Now, that was before Scorn got pushed up. So Scorn was actually supposed to come out after it. Now it's coming out before it. And so Scorn technically leads that group. So Scorn's October 14th. And this one's an exciting one for me. I'm ready to play it. It looks very weird. I don't even know if necessarily I'd make it through all the way just because of just the oddness of it. But I'm honestly wishing, the best for it. I don't... for that one, I don't have many expectations just because it's been a game that we've known about for a while. It got pushed an entire year, right? Last year it was supposed to come out, now this year. And it's a Game Pass game. There's not a lot of, worry for entry, right? Because you get it for free. You play it 5, 6, 7 hours. You leave it. Will it shock anybody or change the world? It could, maybe, based off of the gore and the maybe pushing of boundaries. But from what I've seen actually on videos I've made of Scorn, doesn't really seem like it's everybody's cup of tea. And I feel like it's kind of even with people that are into it versus people that aren't. But like I said, October 18th is the big one. So that's A Plague Tale and Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Both of them look awesome. To me, obviously, Plague Tale looks better, but they're different games entirely, and I'm ready to play both of them. I've been talking up Requiem for a very, very long time. Played Innocence last summer, not this past one, literally 2021, and loved it to death. Very sad that I didn't play it when it first came out. And so to me, this is it visually looks, and from all the improvements, it literally seems like it's a Game of the Year contender, all on Game Pass as well. Now, if you obviously don't have Game Pass, then you pay full price. I think it's $60. So it's quite a lot of money to put in on a game like this, but yet again, they've even said that the game's supposed to be, I think they said 16 to 18 hours. You probably subtract a little bit of that time, right? So really, it's probably 13, 14, 15, but that's a pretty good amount of time. That's a full length, back in the day, back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, that would have been considered a very meaty, single player experience. But I'm really looking at that to be one of the main games when we talk about Ragnarok for Game of the Year. I really want to also bring up Requiem, and I hope we can. Ghostbusters looks like a lot of fun. Honestly, it's undershown, let's say. It just doesn't seem like people care about it. I actually think that a lot of people don't even know it exists. Compared to Predator, which was Ilphonic's last game, obviously, this one just doesn't have any kind of the same push. I think from them and from, you see YouTube videos and even the community, there's one channel that I've seen that does very consistent Ghostbusters content, and I've seen almost nobody actually cover this game outside of IGN, GameSpot, those. I'm one of the only ones. I've only made a couple videos on it too, but I feel like I'm one of the only ones. So I hope for the best for this game. But again, it's these kind of games, even the smaller games, I think, that come out in October, unlike other months, they're still pretty big. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people are going to care about Scorn, but I still think that's a sizable game. Ghostbusters, at least with the name, right? Pretty sizable. And then you go, you got Uncharted, Legacy of Thieves Collection on PC. That's actually the day after, on the 19th. The 20th is Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That game looks just awesome. That one, again, there's not too much you can say about it because it's very gameplay heavy. It's stylistic heavy in terms of how the gameplay works. So you're either going to like it or you're not. You either played the first one and enjoy that kind of stuff, or maybe you skipped the first one, but this is the first one you jump in, which is actually me. I didn't play the first game, but I want to jump in here. But also, to not beat around the bush, Mario Rabbids, this is a game coming out for Switch. This is going to sell. This is going to sell a lot. And while I do think a lot of these games may overshadow others, like I could see Ghostbusters being completely forgotten about because of other games, I don't think Mario Rabbids would get pushed aside, right? It's going to sell, oh God. I mean, doesn't every Nintendo Switch game sell like 10 million units at least, right? So, I don't know if it'll do that, but it's going to be a very popular game, no doubt. Then, literally the day after that, you have October 21st, and you got 3 big ones. 2 of them are actually new. One of them technically isn't. Gotham Knights, gigantic. Need I say more? I mean, for me, right? I don't think this game is going to be for everybody. I think loads of people are going to skip out on it just naturally, but obviously certain people, and I would say a pretty good amount of people, have been waiting a very long time for Gotham Knights. Then you got the new Tales from the Borderlands game. That's one I could see very much being overlooked, and maybe even for good reason, right? People just literally just look right past it. I'm not expecting much from it, but at the same time, I'm hoping that they can pull it off, even though it doesn't look like it. And then Persona 5 Royal, which is coming out obviously on Xbox. Is it on Game Pass as well? So, I mean, that's a gigantic one just in general. Persona 5 is one of the best, JRPGs of all time. It's also just an incredible game. I loved Persona 5. The issue with this, like, to me personally, is just I can never see myself, at least right now, going back, investing. Persona 5 on its own takes around 95 to 100 hours. I actually did that. It's not even just the average of people, which it is. I think the average is like 99 or 100 hours. If you add in that extra content, it's another 20, 25 hours. So to go back and put in, no joke, 125 hours, it's worth it if you've never done it before. It's a game I think a lot of people should play. But for me, I'm not going to do it, at least not right now. Maybe I'll go back in the future. And then you jump to the 28th of the month, and we have Bayonetta 3. So that's a gigantic one, again, for Switch, specifically for Switch, but also Bayonetta has been a franchise for a long time. It's been a pretty popular franchise for a long time, and putting it on the Switch with, again, its bazillion users, I do think that game is going to do quite well, and I'm very, very excited to play Bayonetta 3. That's one of my most anticipated games. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, gigantic, okay? Gigantic in name, gigantic in, like, its stance in the industry, gigantic in the people that are going to play it. I personally don't care, and I don't really talk about Call of Duty. I really don't have anything to say about it. So, but that is a gigantic one. And then also that same day is Resident Evil, the DLC, right? So the Shadows of Rose DLC, but also Reverse, which is funny that game still exists, or that, I guess, it got delayed massively and coming out now, but I'm very excited for the Shadows of Rose DLC, ending the Winters family saga. That is nuts to me, that they're actually going to end it on a DLC instead of a base game, but that's where we're at. So really from start to finish. Now, starting is not exactly true, right? I mean, there's No More Heroes 3. That's a big one that immediately jumps out at me. There's NHL 23, so you get a sports game, which I've played many NHL games for many years, and that's also on the 14th. So there is a couple games here and there. Overall, though, in terms of new and at least that really speak to me. Again, October 18th was the day. Now it's October 14th with Scorn. But yet again, Scorn, NHL 23, No More Heroes, I think, is the 11th for most people. So, you give it a week and a half in October, and then it just starts coming out. And then from the 18th through the 28th, those 10 days, it's like 7 or 8 actual gigantic games, depending on, I guess, what you consider gigantic. And then also games I feel like talked about in this video, probably 10 to 12, right? Over a 10-day span. So lots of games that release on top of each other, games that are definitely going to fall through the cracks. And these are just games that I care about. There's other games I'm sure that come out that just go completely over my head. But let me know what you think. Again, we've been talking about really this stretch. September was supposed to kind of be the start of this. It really wasn't once all these games started to get, delayed and pushed. And, games like Skull and Bones not making it, Lord of the Rings Gollum, stuff like that. And those are kind of November, September, you lose a little bit of it. But October is gigantic, and then it doesn't really slow down. November from start to finish is pretty huge. And then December, games pretty much stop around like the 13th is kind of the last major day for December. But that 1st through the 13th of December, December is also pretty huge, including the Game Awards that also happens. But we're in it now, and we got another, 2.5 months of just many, many games coming out, and hopefully it's awesome. Hopefully a lot of these games are really, really good games. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on tomorrow's video.